In our last interview, you made a comment how you never joined the UFC because most MMA fighters are broke.
I don't know. Well, yeah, I guess that would be a safe thing to say.
Yeah, that
It's
was one of your
hard. Yeah,
biggest clips. A lot of people, I
yeah,
guess, were upset over these comments and everything, and over your comments.
yeah. If you weren't a follower of UFC, you may not know who they are now, and they've achieved things that were gargantuan in that world. So I've seen this type of stuff for a long time coming up, and I go, oh, so and so is a champion, but who outside of this room knows that? That wasn't something. And then I see what the money is like, and I will see what the boxing money was like, and I'm like, it ain't no comparison. So, when people ask, well, why, how come you didn't want to fight for the UFC? Because I want to take care of my family, and I don't want to be like absolutely broke in 2 years. Like,
Oh yeah.
not saying they all do, but look at the majority.
No, right.
You
I
know?
mean, for every Tito Ortiz that does okay, there's 1,000 guys that are barely making it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And even the Tito Ortizes, you may not know what's really happening in their life.
Yeah.
And then you think about, okay, what's the next chapter? He's going to live the next 10 years. What are those 10 years going to look like?
But, I mean, when you look at the sport as a whole, the guys who are getting in the octagon is a tiny sliver of the people who are actually devoting their lives to it.
Exactly. It's like you got to figure who's talking about it. I'm talking about it. How close. I know far more former fighters than the average person.
Yeah.
By far. You come to the house.
Mm-hmm.
How many, like...
Yeah, it's filled with fighters.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I feel really safe in that house.
Yeah.
Don't think anyone's going to run up on me in Michael's house.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. People always going to talk shit because social media it's all about this negative thing. If you could say something negative. Or, I mean, if you got 100 people and there's one asshole, that one asshole going to speak louder than everybody else because that's the voice of dissension.
Yeah.
So, I got to expect it to some degree. People like to talk about stuff they don't know.
Right. And let's keep in mind that the guys who actually do make money, like the Tito Ortizes of the world, who I've interviewed, and I asked them to list all the injuries he's had, and it was just like, it was a laundry list. I had an operation here, an operation this, I got this fractured and removed and replaced and blah, blah.
And I've had 8 surgeries myself through my career. I've had ACL replaced in my left knee, ACL replaced in my right knee, 50% of my meniscus taken on my right knee, L4-5, S1 fused in my lower back, T3, T2, T2, T1, T1, C7 disc replacement, C7, C6 fuse, C6, C5 fuse, C5, C4 disc replacement, and a reattached retina, and probably about maybe 10 to 12 concussions. And, that's probably about as much damage as I sustained, but I continue to do it because I love it.
I interviewed him the same week you interviewed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But, and that's the thing, man. It's like if you took the average fighter, even like, you think about all the famous ones, but even think about all the ones that are not famous, the ones that fought and they're gone. They're still considered a professional MMA fighter. Almost all of these fighters, it's like a documentary. If you followed their life, it's kind of like, every, even, people who've had $100 million in boxing, on the other side of that, they don't maintain that usually. So if you said most boxers end up broke, well, it's a pretty safe bet. And you're talking about they make 20 times the amount that MMA fighters made. Mm-hmm. So you say, a lot of MMA fighters that you think are making a lot of money are not. And they'll be the first ones to say that because, hell, you see, they're griping all the time about it. So it's just kind of, but just like any kind of thing that doesn't have a union, there'll be young people willing to fight their heart out for nothing. As long as you have that, well, there's always going to be content, man.